Hey guys, welcome to our first ever Facebook Live with iWIN contest. It is now 9 o'clock, you hear it in the background. So we're going to get started here in just a minute. I'll let Facebook kind of populate, and then that way a couple people will see it and start joining. And then we'll kind of go from there. I'll explain a little bit about how we're going to do things tonight, and then you'll have a chance to ask some questions, and hopefully I can help you win a little more than maybe you're already winning. So first off, my name's Tom. I own iWIN contests. I wrote the newsletter for the last few years. One of the things with myself that I really try and do is I try and make myself very accessible to you, my subscribers, the people who follow our page. It's really important to me that I'm out in the sweepstakes community, I guess you could say, and that I'm here to answer your questions and help you win. I fully believe that the best sweepstakes editor can only teach people to win if they're winning themselves. So I kind of feel a little bit added pressure sometimes to go out and win things myself. I started sweepstaking, I guess you could say, when I was a little kid. Some of you have seen the pictures of when I won the Atari or when I won the Big Rabbit when I was 3 years old. So growing up, I always entered things. I just kind of casually did it. Then I won a truck from the Cleveland Browns, which some of you have seen the video. I won the first Bud Light Cruise, and I was a finalist for a March Madness contest. After that, I was like, you know what, there's kind of something to this. So I started researching it. I started looking online and checking it out. And I actually ran across a book by Carolyn Wilman, the contest queen, which some of you know. I read her book. I thought it was really interesting. I started researching a little more. I found some sites. And then now, when I first started entering, I just entered everything. You know, 200, 300 contests a day, whatever it was, I just wanted to win it. As I've matured in sweepstaking, I've become more focused. And that's kind of how iWIN came about. It's how I enter. It's how I enter sweepstakes. It's what I look for. And I realized, hey, this is a really good thing that I can teach other people and help them win. So let's talk about what I know one of the big things that you guys are interested in. These babies. A pair of Beats Solos. So how do you win these? This is our big prize tonight. We'll also have other prize. What I want you to do is, throughout this broadcast, and for some of you people who are joining just a little bit late, not a problem. You will have till midnight tonight to watch this video and comment on it. You can comment as many times as you want, ask questions throughout. That's what I really want to see. I'll try and get to as many questions as possible. But how you win these is your very first 3 comments, whether it's some of you guys, like I see Denise and Shirley and Linda saying hello, that counts as an entry. Your first 3 comments of anything, whether it's a question, hello, where you're from, that's where you'll be entered to win these. After midnight, I'll pick the winner of these, and I'll have them shipped out, hopefully here in the next couple of days. I think everyone knows, or a lot of you know, I'll be leaving for the Super Bowl later this week, so I will do my best to get them out before the end of the week. If not, they'll go out as soon as I get back next week. The other gift cards will be given out throughout the broadcast. Some of them will be given out throughout the comments and contests later on after the show. If for some reason we lose connection, we go down, no big deal. We will jump on, we'll get back on, and I'll combine all the comments into one entry pool so that you don't feel like you've lost out. So thanks, guys. Thanks everyone who's joining. A really good group, and I really appreciate it. And hopefully this will go well, and if it does, we'll try and do this a little bit more often. So some people don't know what iWIN is, and this is for subscribers and non-subscribers. And for any of the prizes tonight, you can be a current subscriber. You don't have to be. This is really just to educate people and you know, I'll try and do my best to answer all your questions. But just to give you a little bit about iWIN. iWIN is a paid membership site and newsletter. Years ago, it was just a newsletter. It came out every Thursday. It has 10 to 15 sweepstakes that I feel have really good odds. They may be short entry periods, they may be regional, they may be a skill contest, they may be something nobody knows about. But I really try and focus on things with either just a lot of prizes and your odds are really good, or odds that are less than 1,000 entries. You know, a lot of your average sweepstakes, and people don't realize this, can get 50 to 100,000 entries a day. When you're competing in that masses, it's really, really, really difficult to win. Matt Roscoe's here. He's actually sleeping next to me. So we'll wake Roscoe up in a little bit. He had a very tiresome weekend with his grandparents because we were at the Pro Bowl all weekend. But he is here, and I'll bring him out. I know everyone loves Roscoe. So difference between a paid site and a non-paid site. iWIN, there's some other great sites out there. The ones that you're paying for a subscription for, typically those sites are not taking any kickbacks from any sponsors, any promotional companies. They are strictly out there to find sweepstakes for you to win. That's what iWIN is. So every month I get people emailing me, asking me to promote their sweepstakes in my newsletter. 90% of those I don't do. You know, some of them will offer me incentives to do them. That's not what iWIN's about. We don't want to do that to our subscribers. Difference between a free site, though, is quite the opposite. A lot of the free sites, that's where they're getting their information. People are sending it to them, and they're actually paid for every time you click their link, every time that you enter through their site. So that's the difference. I always tell my subscribers and people in general, any good newsletter will more than pay for itself. And I subscribe to some myself. So if it pays for itself over the course of a year, I renew the subscription. That's why I recommend for my customers. That's why I recommend for anyone that's trying out any paid site. And most people subscribe to multiple sites. It's not uncommon. The sites typically don't try and compete against each other. They really work together. There's so many sweepstakes out there. It's good to have multiple sources. But if you can pay for yourself with any subscription or pay your subscription back, by all means, I would definitely try and renew the subscription. You should win more than your value. Let's talk a little bit about conventions, and then we'll get to the questions. Jen, Nick, I see that you just got back from San Jose. Jen is one of our subscribers that just won a trip to San Jose from our text group, which we'll discuss. Glad to see some of these comments, and honestly, they're coming so many. I'll definitely try and read them all, and I'll try and go back and answer some when I can. But I'll let you know when I go to questions so that I can try and do those specifically. Peggy, thanks. I'm glad to hear that iWIN paid for itself in the next 10 years in the first 3 months I had it. I really appreciate hearing that. Bethany, congratulations! You just won ATV and a beer cake fridge recently, so that's great to hear. Conventions are great. A lot of people have heard me speak at conventions. If you go to the iWIN page, there's a list of all the conventions, and there's a lot of different choices. There's always one major one, which is the National Convention. Last year, it was held in Las Vegas. For those who know Donna did a fantastic job with it. It had 700 to 800 people there. So if you want to hear some stories of some people who have won an awful lot of prizes, these are the places to go. It's definitely motivating. You come back rejuvenated and say, yeah, I want to be like one of these people. I did it when I first started and was amazed, and now I haven't missed one since. This year happens to be a cruise, and right now my subscribers know on the Facebook site for the National Convention next year, till tomorrow night, they're doing a contest where they're giving away 4 $25 Amazon cards. Really good odds, worth doing. You do not have to be registered for the cruise or the convention next year. They just want to get the word out. They want you to learn about the cruise. I will be on the cruise, and I'm really looking forward to it. So go check that out. You can go to our page, the iWIN contest site, click on conventions. It lists them all. Then you can go over to the Facebook page for the national convention. Again, there's a lot of choices though next year, so please check them all out. Depending on where you're at in the country, they're all good for their own various reasons. I attended, I think, every single one of them last year. I will try and attend as many as I can this year. I do speak at some of them. I never asked to speak, but if I get asked, I consider it an honor. And that's really how this kind of started. And I apologize. I know some people said that this is cutting in and out just a little bit. It could be my connection. It could be your connection. But we'll try and work through it as best as possible. But anyways, this started because when I was in Vegas, I talked about trip wins. The year before was just one of those years in sweeping that you can't do anything wrong. I won 9 various trips. Took them all, plus took one trip that I had won the year before. So I had 10 trips that I had to take. I went to every single one of them, and I spoke about them at the convention. After I spoke about them, though, they opened the floor up to questions. And I really felt that was way better than me telling people about my trips. Everyone likes to hear good stories, but being able to ask someone who does this on a regular basis and how they do it and how they win is really what I like doing. So at this point, I'll open up to questions. I have some questions that people have sent in too. Again, it's scrolling really quick because I know we have 100 and some people on the view right now. So I will try and get to as many as possible. So if you do have questions, by all means, go ahead and put them on here, and I'll try and read them, and then I'll try and answer some that people have sent over ahead of time as well. One person asked me about how the world has started now limiting how many times you can enter from a single IP address. A lot of WooBox has started doing this as well. What the solution is. Sometimes a matter of clearing out your cookies works fine, and you can enter, say you and your roommate both like to enter. And so you enter once, and then they try and enter, and they can't. It says you've already entered. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We've started to see this more in the sweepstakes community. It is to prevent those from trying to enter for numerous people. Not every sweepstakes, though, has that rule. A lot of sweepstakes is one per person. If you want to enter for grandma, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, that's really up to you. Me personally, I typically enter for myself. Once in a while I'll enter for Lee. I just don't have the time to enter for a bunch of people. So there are some that limit one per household, so you do need to watch that as well. Let's see. So another person asked me, do you think eventually the sponsor tags you as a sweeper and limits your chances of winning? Typically not. If you win often, yes, you're going to run into the same people. There's people who have booked trips for me, and they know who I am, and they say, hey, Tom, just wanted to let you know you won this or you won that. And really, if you're cordial and nice to them, fulfillment companies especially, they really like sweepstakes people in general. Different a little bit from sponsors, as most of you have read in my newsletters. But it really is 2 different levels. The one thing that I really stress always is you do want to make yourself not look like a sweepstakes person. As an example, you don't want, I love to win prizes at yahoo.com as my email address. If your Facebook profile right now says you work at sweeping, or I love to enter sweeps, I enter contests all day, that's all I ever do, you really need to get rid of that. And I use the phrase that it will never help you. There's nothing about it that's ever going to be good. There's nothing about it that's ever going to help you. So get rid of it. Make it simple. If you've used the same email forever, I know that's a little bit harder to change, but your profiles, you do not want to show that you're a sweepstakes person. So along those lines, then people ask, I share everything on Facebook. I don't really enter referral entries, so my Facebook page doesn't really look like that. I haven't really changed my picture to Felix, so I don't look like all the other sweepers right now who are trying to win $10,000 a day, just as an example. Let's see, if you win a trip but don't take it until the following year, do you pay taxes on that prize the year you won it, or is it on the next year that you actually take it? It's usually when the trip is booked. So for example, if you won the Super Bowl trip at the end of December, but they didn't actually book till early January, and that's when they actually spent the money, then the following January, you'll get a 1099. It's not always, but that's typically when it is. Example, when I won my truck, I won the truck actually at the end of December. However, I didn't take ownership of it until January, and that's when they 1099'd me, was in that year, so I got a 1099 the following year. So it gave me a full year to prepare for that specifically. Are there any expenses you deduct in your taxes for sweeping? I do know some people, write off their supplies and they treat it as a business. With me, it is a little bit different because I do own iWIN, so I can write off some expenses against the website, what I do. So as an example. What about if you have a lot of sweeps on Facebook? Does that disqualify you from winning some sweeps? I'm not going to say it disqualifies you. However, will it hurt you? It might. If it's a major company like a Hello World, which was formerly ePrize, a Don Jagoda, any of those major ones that Prize Logic, they're not looking to disqualify you, and their entries are going to be legit. But if it's the mom and pop Joe Smith's barbecue that's down the street, and they look at it and they see all you do is enter sweepstakes, they may choose somebody else. Don't believe that it's not going to happen because you're kidding yourself. Let's see. Somebody asked, how did you win so many trips in 1 year? I entered. It's really not that difficult. The interesting part about that year, Jennifer, is every single trip that I won that year required some sort of effort besides filling out an entry form. There was one I had to do a photo, and it was a judged photo. There was one that was an essay. I like doing skill contests in particular. Most people skip them. They don't do them. A lot of times there's very, very few entries. Many of you have heard my story from my big, huge experience where I got to go to the World Cup for 3 weeks, and I got to go on 4 total trips. That's the biggest prize I ever won. The initial pool of entries, I really don't think it was much bigger than maybe 50 or 100 people. And there wasn't a lot of people who actually really put effort into their videos. And it was a 2-minute video, and it won me a prize pack worth over $150,000. Let's see. With all the internet sweepstakes, texting, Instagram, and Twitter, do you still feel it is worth the expense to do mail-ins? If you have a choice, text versus mail-in, which do you prefer? I do mail-ins a little bit. I'd say maybe 10 a week, maybe 20 a week. A lot of times they're for codes. A lot of times they're no purchase necessary. So if you have to purchase something or you have to open a bank account, I may send in a mail-in for something like that. If I have a choice to enter and not do a mail-in, me personally, I just don't think the cost is there or the prizes against the cost versus when I can enter for free are worth it. Most of the entry pools are going to be pulled together. If I think there's a chance that a mail-in may get picked over, say, a texting, a lot of times, like a local team will say, text this code to win this, or mail in an entry. It's the only time. If it's something local, sometimes if you can enter both ways, I may enter both ways, or I may try and do a mail-in, because a lot of times I hope that maybe those entries are sitting on someone's desk and they go, you know what, we got to pick the winners for that. We forgot all about it, and they pick the winner, and it just happens to be me. What do you use for autofilling fields? I like RoboForm. I know that there's a lot of them out there. I've used RoboForm. I've used it for years. It's, in my opinion, really good to use. It definitely speeds up your entries, but there's a lot of different ones. And then the same line, someone said, hey, but if I use that, am I going to get disqualified? Typically not. There are some that will say that you have to hand stroke your entries, but most of them not. I don't over worry about being DQ'd. If it's something I really want and I know that in the rules it says they need to be hand typed, I will hand type it. Let's see. How long do you wait before reaching out to a sponsor if you never get the prize after you've been confirmed? I've had a few instances, including the grand prize, where the contact person left the company and never fulfilled the prize. I'd say every year I probably have 2, maybe 3 things that just never show up. It depends what it is. I don't overly chase things down. I will send a nice email, try and contact the company. It really depends what it is. I would say, you know, a lot of these fulfillment companies, they're going to tell you 6 to 8 weeks. So if in that 2-month, 3-month time period I haven't seen it, I may send a quick email to the person who contacted me. Typically, you'll be contacted by email. If you were contacted by phone, I always recommend getting a phone number. But so you can try and do that and see what they say. When somebody leaves the company or something doesn't get fulfilled, I know some people will try and go to the sponsor directly. Depending on what it was, I may consider that. A lot of times, though, in the big picture of things, it's just not worth it. I watch sometimes people posting and chasing down a $5 or $10 or $25 gift card, and I get it. You want it. You're entitled to it. You want your gift card and your prize that you won. However, you know, bad-mouthing the company on Facebook and posting on their site and telling your friends to post on their site, I don't do it. I don't recommend it. Odds are that company's not going to do another promotion, and it's just not worth it. All that time and effort that you've spent doing that, I can probably enter 100 different sweepstakes and win 2 or 3 times that amount easily than what you're chasing down. So I hope that helps. Thanks, Serge, for asking that question. Kathy asked me, how many hours do you spend entering a day? I work, contrary to a lot of people's belief, but I work. I have a great job. I'm a healthcare recruiter that occupies a lot of my time, but also gives me the freedom to go enjoy these trips that I win. So I try and limit my entry time to about an hour a day. In an hour a day, I can enter between 100 to 120 things. And that's really all I try and do. There are certain skill contests, or maybe a photo or a video that I'll plan some time to do that. And those sometimes do take a little bit more time, but I know that my odds are really, really going to increase. Karen asked me, how many entries do you fill out for a trip you really want? Anything that I feel is worth spending the time to enter, I will try and maximize my entries. So if it's daily, I'll enter it daily. Excuse me. If I can enter 10 times a day, I'll enter 10 times a day. So I always try and give myself the best odds possible. So whatever the max amount that you can enter for, I would definitely do it. And if it's something that you really want to win, that should be what you're entering for. If it's something you really don't care about, don't enter it. You know, unless you have unlimited time, enter for the things that you really want, and therefore you'll win bigger, better prizes and things that you'll like. Let's see. I appreciate all the good comments on the newsletter. Jason asked me, is DraftKings still a viable sweeps? Jason, I think, heard me speak about DraftKings at some of the conventions. I do play DraftKings. DraftKings is a paid site. It's not legal in all states. It is fantasy sports, for those who don't know what it is. They have done some amazing free contests. Jason, it really depends what they're going to do going forward this year. Last year, as an example, they gave out a NASCAR trip every single week that you didn't have to pay a dime to enter. All you had to do was throw in a lineup and be a member of their site. And when I say member of their site, it's free to join, but I think they made you deposit $5 or $20 or something like that. But it was well worth doing it. You could withdraw that money at any time, but to enter their free contests. I actually have won, I believe it's 4 trips from DraftKings. All 4 of those trips, I have not paid an entry fee for the sweepstakes. I won, one was a photo contest, one was an essay contest, and 2 of them were actually the NASCAR contest where you had to do a lineup, beat everyone else, but then you won a trip to a NASCAR event. Tiffany says she hates skill contests. Tiffany, it's people like you who I love, and I really appreciate that. It gives me a better chance. But a lot of people are like Tiffany. They do. They take more effort. They take more time. It's a lot more than filling out a simple form. Let's see. Do you think Woo Box contests are worth it? Asked Jenny. I'll enter a Woo Box contest if it's something I want. Even a referral. If I'm scrolling through my feed and I see somebody has posted, say like one of those robot vacuum cleaners I've been trying to win. So if I see that, I'll probably enter it. Will I share it for extra entries? No, I don't. Contrary to the belief, again, I don't have the following to compete with some people who are very, very good at that. It's just not a way that I choose to use my time. Let's see. How do you feel about voting contests? Because voting pools, those are tough to win. I hate voting contests. I hate voting. If people ask me for votes, I usually vote for them. About once, maybe twice a year, I convince myself I need to enter some little voting contest and usually have enough support that I do okay. But it's not something, again, that I focus. To win voting contests and be successful, especially at the big ones, you really need to, you have to have a huge following and a huge support base, and it takes a lot of time. Anyone who's entered a voting contest, to be successful at it in the big ones, you really spend hours and hours a day just being nice and asking people for votes. So voting contests are definitely not for me. But again, there's people who do extremely well. I have people who message me off and on. They're very nice about it, ask me for a vote. If someone's pretty nice about it and asks me for a vote and doesn't ask me for 30 votes, I usually will vote for them. I try and help out, especially subscribers, as much as I can. How should we search for skilled and local-only contests except radio? The skilled contests, the good thing is iWIN just came up with a skill page. It's new, it's fresh, we're working on it. By the end of the year, it should have a good amount of content of skilled contests that you'll be able to go to and look and enter skill contests specifically. As far as where you find them, you can search different keywords. You can search judged, sweepstakes, judged contests, and a lot of times those will come up. Local-only contests, and somebody else asked me about this, is what's the best way to search for local-only contests? The best way is really get in your car and go to the grocery store. Go to the gas station. There's sweepstakes everywhere. I mean, there is more than you and me and 10 other people put together could enter every day on a daily basis. It's a matter of entering the right ones. But I'm not a big fan of going to the grocery store because usually it's to pick up like 4 things and it takes me like an hour because I never go and I don't know where they're at. And it's usually like 4 calls to league saying, where's this, and she hates it. So, but when I do go, I will try and go down the beer aisle, try and go down the cereal aisle. I will look at like the candy bars, the chip section. There's always sweepstakes in there. And a lot of times maybe something's come out, maybe it's even regional before it gets out to the public. Anytime you have information before it's on any site, it's always an advantage to you. Let's see. What platform do you win most? Twitter, Facebook, etc. For whatever reason, lately it's been Twitter. I've won a lot of trips on Twitter. This recent Pro Bowl experience that I was at this weekend was a Twitter judged essay contest. You could say, I guess, 140 characters amount to an essay. The Super Bowl trip that I just won was on Twitter also. So I will say it's Twitter, but like I always tell people is, if you're not winning on whatever you're doing, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Snapchat, try something different. Learn a different technique. Let's see. And again, I'm probably not going to get to all these tonight. I'll try and go back and answer some of them. I really, really appreciate you guys watching this. I hope everyone's enjoying it. You know what? We should give some stuff away. We'll go back to questions in a second. But let's see. I'm going to do this so quick. Let's give some stuff away. So some of this I'll do random. I'm just going to scroll and grab someone. So, Tharp. Shell Tharp. Let's see. Whoops. Now it's asking me to block you. I don't want to block you. But I have a $10 IHOP gift card for you. So send me an email or a message with your address, and I will get this out to you. And let's give some more things away. We all like to win. I mean, that's why we're here. Let's see. Okay. So I have a couple of these Denny cards. Did anyone from iWIN get some of these cards in the mail? So these were easy. They were 1 per person, and there was a mail-in option that was pretty much a free $10 gift card. So I will take the first person that I see comment, and I apologize if it's not the true first. I'm going to try and make sure I see the true first person. But the first person who can tell me, I want a trip to London for Hard Rock Live. And I want to know one of the 2 major artists that played there. So I'm going to watch this, and whoever the first person to comment that I see, they can go enjoy a Grand Slam breakfast or something that you get at Denny's. Let's see. I think the comments are on delay, so because I see tons of comments scrolling. So, does anyone name one of the 2 artists that I saw when I was in London? So, 2 major artists, and you'll be going to Denny's. Yeah, because people are commenting that they won from these. No, Michelle, it was not Rascal Flatts. So, somebody's hearing this. No, it was not the Rolling Stones. It was not the Boss. It was not Paul McCartney. Rod Stewart, Wendy Black, you're my winner. So somebody can name the next one. I have another $10 gift card. So there were 2 of them. One was Rod Stewart. So Wendy Black, send me an email. Who's going to name the other artist? Come on, one of you guys got to be quick enough to go back to the site and find this out. I'll tell you, he's part owner of an arena football team also. That is a guy. Let's see. Not Prince, not Adele. This is a couple years ago, and this guy's been around for a long time. Not David Bowie, not Cyndi Lauper. I appreciate all the guests. The Rolling Stones have been the most popular guest, but no, it wasn't there. There we go, Ellen, Bon Jovi. It was Bon Jovi, and it was a really fun trip, and I got to do it with one of my good friends, Brian. So Ellen, go ahead and send me an email. I know Ellen Zimmerman, she is a longtime subscriber as well. So I have Denny's for you as well. Let's give away a couple more things, and then we will start. I want to know, let's see, I have movie passes to go see Rogue One. So if you haven't seen it, I have some movie passes, and I am going to, let's do another question. If you haven't seen Rogue One, there are 2 passes to go see it. We will do, I was the Grand Marshal. I won a trip, and I was the Grand Marshal. I want to know what speedway I was the Grand Marshal at. So again, I think this is a little bit on delay, but the first person that answers, you can go see Rogue One on me. And then we'll go back to doing some more questions. Just to remind everyone who's joining late, a pair of Beats Solo, all you have to do is comment on this post. You can do it up to 3 times. Now, granted, I know a lot of you have commented tons and tons of times. That's great, but 3 times, you'll earn up to 3 entries for these beats. You have till midnight. Nancy Stage, you were my winner. You were going to see Rogue One. It was Talladega. So, Nancy, send me an email, and I will get this out to you so you can go see it. All right. So let's go back to some more questions. So go ahead and fire some more questions at me. I will see what I can do to best answer these. Where's Roscoe? All right, let's see. Should we wake up Roscoe? Hey, Roscoe. You want a treat? Come here. Come here. He's sleeping, Jana, but he'll come say hello to you. There he is. He just wants a treat. So, for those who don't know, I do all the questions, everything myself. I answer everything from iWIN, all the emails. Lee does help out. Roscoe, well, he does search a lot online for sweeps, but I think he just thinks I say treats, and that's the only reason he even listens to me and does it. So, let's see. See, everyone's a fan of you. So, is anyone a fan of Caruso? I always tell Roscoe he should be more like Caruso. Come here, buddy. All right, let's go back to some questions. Who else has some questions that we can get answered? We will do this for a few more minutes, and then we'll wrap up. Let's see. Ever win him dog food? No, I've never won dog food, but I probably have won about at least 5 or 6 dog beds, including, most recently, you probably have seen the pictures, he won an awesome bed from Serta. So that is fantastic. Drew, have you won any free haircuts in Florida? Drew's wife used to cut my hair in Ohio all the time. And no, Drew, I haven't. And I miss Amy. Please tell her I wish she was down here so she could cut my hair. Wendy asked, do I ever sell any wins for money? It's pretty rare. I really enter for what I want. I give a lot away. I really believe in winning it forward. You guys see that a lot of the stuff that I give away on iWIN. I give it to subscribers. To each person's different. I'm not going to condemn somebody who does it. I just, most of the time I don't. I can't say I've never sold anything. I do on a rare occasion, but it's really, for me, it's strictly a hobby, and I know some people do it as a way to provide income for their families, and I understand that. So, let's see. How do you find Twitter sweepstakes? Twitter is really, really easy. You can search, you go up in their search field and search keywords. Everyone knows in iWIN, I usually try and put some retweet to win things that are like one day only. We've actually had 3 grand prize winners here in the last, it's probably maybe 9 months, from all they had to do was do a simple retreat to win. You want to lay down, bud? Roscoe, say goodbye. Sit down. So anyways, all they had to do was do retreat to win, and there were 3 major prizes. One person went and saw an NBA game, VIP experience. One person is going to be going to Maroon 5 for a VIP experience. They got to pick any concert they wanted. Another person went out for the premiere of Rogue One out in LA for the world premiere. So let's see. Kathy says, I went to iHeart 80s Fest this weekend because of your test group. Thank you. We actually had a couple winners. For those that don't know, if you're an iWIN subscriber, you can belong to the text group. The text group started out very, very small. And what the text group does is, it's a group, and we use an app called GroupMe. And I highly, highly, highly recommend, if you want to be part of the group, download GroupMe. So what you do is you sign up, you subscribe to iWIN. You'll get a welcome letter. It tells you about it. It tells you a little bit about the group, the text group. You can go in our forums, and there's a whole list of rules about the text group. It's really simple. Basically, you share keywords when you hear them. So if you're a big fan of iHeartRadio and you want to go these trips, and you're in the car and you hear, the keyword this hour is fun. Text fun to 77000. So if you're not driving and you're staying at home or whatever, and it's safe to text, send it out, and then you send it to the group. So then all the people in the group get the word. They then can text it in. A lot of radio stations do this right now. They give major prizes away. A lot of them are trips. There's a lot of $1,000 prizes, but we have a huge group. We have by far the most successful group in the country. The group has been around since September of, not 2016, but 2015 is when we started the group. There's been 18 grand prize winners. Most of them, actually all of them, are either trips or cash. So they're all major, major winners. And it's truly a great group. Everyone who follows the rules in the group, we really try and help each other win, and everyone really is there for a good cause. I enjoy the group, and it's something, if that's what you're looking for, it's worth the cost of the subscription alone. I think anyone who's won would easily tell you that, and even the people who haven't won, you're never going to be able to get all the keywords yourself. So when you have a group of 200, 300 people that can listen to the radio here and there sporadically whenever you can, there's no requirement that you have to share this much or you have to share that much. It's really just trying to help the group win. What is my favorite internet site for frequent giveaway sweepstakes? It's iWIN contests, of course, Patricia. No, I don't, besides that, I do have some other subscriptions that I use, but a lot of it's looking on my own. Let's see, the $1 billion contest yesterday was a great success with the text group. Yeah, if you didn't know about the 400 gift cards that were given away yesterday, that's, again, another reason to subscribe to iWIN. It was an act now that was sent out. There were keywords all day. Because we have such a good group, we're easily able to get all 8 of those keywords. You were allowed 8 entries, and we're hoping to get an awful, awful lot of people who have won from that. Lori just reminded people, renew or subscribe using Facebook Live, FB Live, and get a free 1 month. Thanks, Lori, for reminding me of that. As part of our live promotion tonight, and I'll repost this, if you use FB Live, FBLIVE, before midnight tonight, it'll add a month on to any current subscription, so if you're renewing, or any new subscription. And it does it automatically. Whether you do 1 year, 2 years, it will add that. So for anyone who watches this video and does that before midnight, it's a thank you from iWIN for being part of the group tonight. All right, let's take a few more questions. I don't want this to go over an hour, so we will end by 10. I'm actually amazed that it's went as long, but I'm glad, and I hope everyone's enjoying it. Let's see. Carol reminded people you definitely need unlimited text. Yes. especially if you're not using GroupMe, because I believe if you're not using GroupMe, you will not see all the keywords once we get over a certain amount of text for the group, which is also another reason we try and keep it to just text words, not a social hour between everyone. Okay, let's see. Don't you need to be able to say a local radio station? Not always. A lot of days nowadays, when you can listen online everywhere, a lot of them, when iHeart calls you, they're going to say, hey, congratulations, what radio station did you hear the keyword on? You need to know an iHeart radio station. So you can't say that you were listening to something that wasn't iHeart, but you do need to know an iHeart station. Yes, I do recommend saying the local station in your area and learning that station, but you don't have to. One, you could be on vacation, you could be somewhere else. Now, don't confuse this with, there are regional ones that you do have to live maybe in a specific market or a specific state. If they're big enough, we will make those part of the keywords and part of the group, and we'll share those. But for the most part, all the nationwide ones, no, you can listen anywhere, and you just need to know a station that is doing the keywords. Laura asked me, how do you stay so organized? Laura, if you saw my office, you would understand I am not so organized. I actually really am not. I do keep different tabs and different bookmarks of what I enter. I don't worry about how often I enter something. I don't worry about what color envelope I sent. I don't worry about how many times I mean, just any of that stuff. All I care about is entering. The more I enter, really the better it is. So I think all that stuff is great, but you're better off suited putting that time to entering and finding new sweepstakes than you are recording every single thing that you do. And I know there's some people who are awesome at it, meticulous. It's just not for me. On the opposite end, I do record all my prizes. So I record all my prizes. I have a spreadsheet. I keep track. I want to know how much I win for the year, what I've won, and I have a check mark. So I know if I've received it or I haven't, and that's how, going back to, I think it was Serge's question early on, if I want to follow up on something, I can. Let's see. Do you have someone run your website? No. I run my own website. I do have a person who helped me build it and design it, and that's where a lot of the money was spent this past year. But for the most part, I update it. I keep track of everything. I go in there and update the text things. That's why, some days you might see nothing, some days you might see 5 things. I try and update as often as possible, but I think everyone will believe or agree that from what we started out, when iWIN first started, it was a simple doc file that came once a week. And you open it up, and people went off of it, and it was great. But now, to have the site and the forum and people being able to talk to in the group text, it is night and day, and we've still managed to keep the cost ridiculously low compared to other sites. One of the main reasons, again, for me, it's still a hobby. It's not my form of income. I'm fortunate enough I have a great job, and that's what pays my bills. I like doing this. I like interacting. It's why I do these Facebook Live, or am doing this Facebook Live event, and hopefully some future ones. I want that to be part of who I am and what I do for you guys. Let's see. Do you enter for trip wins that don't include spending money? I never do. I've won 3 trips, and each trip included spending money. I enter for trips because of the experience. The Super Bowl is a good example. My Super Bowl win this year is not coming with any spending money, any cash option, things like that. I've always wanted to go to the Super Bowl. It's one of the last major sporting events I've never been to. It does have a retail value of around $17,000. There will be a huge tax bill at the end of next year. I realize that's not feasible for everyone. And no, if you can't afford the taxes on something that you could potentially win, I wouldn't spend the time entering. I would like you're saying, look for ones that include some spending money. A lot of times that's not really spending money. It's money to offset the taxes that you're going to pay on something. So if you can get $1,000 or $2,000 on, most trips have a value between $3,000 and $7,000. That's going to offset a good portion of your taxes depending on what income bracket that you're in. Krista says, love the Act Nows. Thanks, Krista. The Act Nows are something I send out in addition to the newsletter. It's really something that I feel is you got to do it right now. Drop everything and do it. I don't waste my time sending you something that can wait. If you're never going to get an email from me that says, hey, enter this every day for the next 35 days and there's a mail-in option. That's not going to happen. You're going to get an email that says, this ends tomorrow at 4 o'clock, you need to enter it today. So I don't do many of them on purpose, but when you do see one, it's usually something you want to enter. Can't wait to see how many win gift cards from the group. I agree. I think we will have at least 100 of the winners of the 400. Let's see. Any more questions that anyone has? I'm trying to scroll through and see, and I appreciate all the comments. I'll go back and leave them afterward. Carol asked me, will the Facebook Live apply to gift subscriptions? Yes, Carol. It will apply if you're going to gift out a gift subscription. Just put a note in there, FB Live. I will make sure it applies to the gift subscriptions. Gift subscriptions are a little bit different. You go through PayPal. If you go through PayPal, same thing. I will send you a code then to sign up that will include the extra month as well. Nancy asked, is the group text national only? Not always, Nancy. We do regional as long as they're big enough. If there are a lot of states or a lot of markets involved, we will share those as long as it's the majority of the people. For example, you're not going to get keywords for something that just is in LA or even just one state. Reason being, every text goes out to every person. How are you different than Sweetie's Secret Sweeps? Really, Cheryl, I consider me different, not just from Sweetie's, but from everyone else. I really just focus on a minimal amount of things that have good odds. If you want a site that's going to give you 1,000 or 2,000 things to enter, that's not what we're about. We're about what I feel have the very best odds. Anything I send you, 9 times out of 10, I'm entering it. Usually the only reason I'm not entering it is it might be a prize I don't want, or maybe it's a trip, or it's something for a specific date that conflicts with my schedule already. I have nothing bad to say about Sweetie's or really any other site. I think any person who does this, like myself, as a paid site, they work very hard for their subscribers to provide you with the best sweepstakes possible. They all have different business models. I have always stressed that iWIN is supposed to work in conjunction with what you're already using. It doesn't matter if it's Sweeping America, Online Sweepstakes, Sweep Sheet, Sweeties, any of those. iWIN should be different. There's always going to be overlap between all of them at some point, but especially me, I try not to overlap because if I see something and I know something is on one of those sites, it's probably not what I want to send it out because it may not be the very best odds. Some of these sites are very big, and if they're getting 10,000 plus entries a day, that's not what we want. Trying to scroll through, see if there's any more questions. There are tons of comments, and I really appreciate that, guys. It really means a lot, and I appreciate how much you guys are enjoying the site, the new site. Someone asked me, how many trips have you won in total since you've been entering? I was really excited because I couldn't remember exactly when I found out about the Super Bowl, and I was hoping it was number 50, but it was actually my 49th trip. So I've won 49 trips, and I started doing this daily in March of 2008, and since then it's kind of been part of my life. Here's a good one. How do you handle sweeping burnout? I burned out right now after the Christmas sweeps rush. Jen, take a break, honestly. The good thing about sweepstakes is you can pick them up at any time. They're always going to be here. There's always plenty. If you want to take a day, a week, a month off, so be it. A lot of people do that. I get a lot of people who subscribe to a newsletter and then they stop entering and they come back to me 3 months later and say, you know what, I'm ready to go again, and start entering again. It happens. It's hard. It's just like anything else that you do on a daily basis, especially if you're not seeing the results. So I will say that you always have to have a base. So if you start entering sweeps today, the odds of you being called next week to win something are probably not huge. Reason being, a lot of these sweepstakes, they will last a month, 2, 3 months, and you'll have to spend all this time entering, some of them daily, and so they may not even notify you till 3 months after a sweepstakes ends. I just had something show up the other day that I never was notified on, and I think the sweep ended last October, as an example. So once you have that base, though, and you continue, you should win regularly. I mean, I probably win something every 2 or 3 days at most. There's many days that it's multiple things in a day, and that's entering, like I said, just a small amount of items. There's people with unlimited time and they can enter 9, 10 hours a day, and there are people who do it and are very, very successful. They work hard at. I just don't have that time, and most people don't. The good thing about like iWIN, and when iWIN first came about, I really thought it would be more people who hadn't tried sweepstakes, wanted to kind of just experiment, learn a little bit. And so I really thought that's how it would go. And what I found out was some of the best sweepstakes people out there that I know were coming to it because I was finding things that they didn't know about. And so it's really a nice blend of people, from people who have just started to intermediate to people I guess I would consider experts that I look up to, that I see speak at these conventions and just am in awe over the things and the stories they've won. So let's see. A couple people have mentioned the second chance lottery drawings. They've won big from those. I don't overly pay the lottery, so I can't really speak educated on that. But I have heard, a lot of people, again, don't do those. I don't know if there's maybe some that you can enter where you don't need the lottery ticket, or if they all do. Do I organize my time allotments for each area of sweeping? No, I really just, I have maybe 100 that I do, and I do them. I always have about 10 or 15 bookmarked that they're like the best of the best, and I try and make sure I do them every day. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up because we're at an hour. Let's give away one more. Let's see. I'm just going to scroll and pick someone. Steve Messager. I have a $10 Subway card for you. So if you message me, I'll send that out. I will go back through here and I'll try and read. I'll try and answer some more, and I'll even give away some iWIN subscriptions. So I'll reply to your comments, and then you can message me, and I'll give away 1 and 3 month subscriptions for people who, if you're a current subscriber, we'll just add it. If you're a new subscriber, you'll be able to try it. So I'll go through and I'll do that, and I'll do it throughout tonight, tomorrow. Don't forget, the last 2 things. You got the beats. So if you've commented 3 times, you're set. You've got your max entries. If you haven't, you have till midnight tonight, 3 entries per person. I'll pick one of them. I'll send you out a pair of these beats. Thank you, everyone. I can't thank you enough for being part of iWIN. I know a lot of you are subscribers. A lot of you are just checking this out because you happen to be scrolling through Facebook and it was on. I appreciate that. If you have questions, message me, email me directly. If you want to sign up for iWIN, if you want to renew, you can do that on the site, iWincontest.com. Just remember, scroll all the way down to the bottom. There'll be a spot for a discount code, FBLIVE, FB Live. Put that in there. You'll get an extra month added on. That code I'll end it somewhere around midnight tonight, so you have till midnight to make sure you take advantage of that. If you like this, if you don't, if you have suggestions, please let me know. I'd love to hear, and hopefully we will look at doing this again here in the future. I'd like to try and do it maybe every month, just depending on time. You know, if we're going to get this kind of response and people enjoy it, we'll definitely try and keep doing it. Thanks again. Thank you all for being part of this. I can't believe it lasted an hour. So I look forward to talking to all of you soon. Thank you.